You're not going to believe what just landed in our laps today. And I'm talking about one of those days where the future of the Miami Dolphins feels like it's sitting at a crossroads. There's a line said by someone inside the locker room that completely changes how we look at our quarterback. There's a real Green Bay vibe creeping into South Florida that could flip this roster upside down. And there's a name in the draft that might turn into the kind of nightmare for rival offenses we've been begging for. So get comfortable, tap that like button, and let's jump straight into it. Are you really ready to talk about this for real? What if I told you someone from inside the building just dropped a truth bomb that explains everything we saw go wrong with Tua Tagovailoa this season? Picture this. You're watching practice, closed sessions, no cameras, and you see a guy ripping absolute lasers, insane anticipation, throwing receivers open like he's reading the defense's group chat. Then game day comes, and it locks up. That's exactly what tight end Darren Waller revealed on Johnny Manziel's Glory Days podcast. He said he was blown away watching Tua in practice, like, I'd walk out there and see this dude throwing darts every single day. I've never seen that level of anticipation and accuracy. And then came the brutal contrast with Sundays. Waller didn't dance around it. He said part of that disconnect is trauma stored in Tua's body from the hits he's taken. Concussions on top of concussions. People inside the league telling him to retire. And now this. Take a breath, Dolphins fan, because this isn't barbershop talk. Waller spent the whole season next to Tua. He saw it up close. He said Tua tries to pull the trigger in games, but his body and his system won't fully let him. And if he heals that, the talent is absolutely there. Look at the numbers. 2025 was rough. 20 touchdowns, 15 picks, a roller coaster that kicked us out of the playoffs again. But what if it's mental? What if his brain is screaming, protect yourself, every time a blitzer flashes? That explains the hesitation in clean pockets, the throws that were just a tick late, all the stuff we lost our minds over. From a football standpoint, if new head coach Jeff Hafley and the staff lean into mental coaching, visualization, even trauma-focused sports therapy like Aaron Rodgers did years ago, Tua could unlock another level. Picture him playing free, no breaks, in a Hafley system that loves mobile, precise quarterbacks. The fan base is split all over WhatsApp groups and X. Some folks are yelling it's all mental, and he's about to bounce back big time. Others already want Willis or whoever's next. Me. I'm standing my ground. Tua is 28. He's still dynamic. And this Waller quote should be a flashing red light for the front office. Ignore it and you might waste a top 10 level talent. Attack it head on, and 2026 suddenly looks like a real turning point. And that's not even the wildest part of today. Wait until you hear how Green Bay is basically setting up shop in Miami, and what that means for the roster. Because what comes next is even crazier. Remember that Green Bay smell I mentioned? Yeah, the Dolphins are starting to look like Packers South this offseason. GM John Eric Sullivan and head coach Jeff Hafley are bringing Lambeau Field DNA straight to South Florida. And it doesn't stop there. Hafley is expected to bring over assistants from Green Bay, which leads to the big question, what about their free agents? Nobody's taking discounts just to move to the Heat, but targeting Packers free agents makes all the sense in the world. They're not going to blow cash on splashy signings. It's the Green Bay model, low cost, high impact, with holes at edge, linebacker, and defensive line. This feels like a smart, sneaky overhaul. Let's break down the real targets, because this shapes the whole season. First up, Malik Willis at quarterback. Super unlikely, but if the Dolphins decide they want a franchise guy, he's the name. Young, athletic, and Hafley and Sullivan know exactly what he could be. The market will get wild, though. We'd have to get creative with the cap. Maybe cuts, maybe extensions, and we'd be fighting off sharks. Next, Quay Walker, linebacker, 26 years old. Hafley absolutely loves him. Elite level, insane communicator, leadership on and off the field, and on Sundays he's a problem for running backs. Perfect for a scheme that puts a ton on linebackers. Imagine him next to Jordan Brooks. That's a violent duo. The linebacker market is deep, but Walker wearing the green last year? You can dream without nuking the bank, and he's a clear upgrade. It keeps going. Kingsley Enagbare, young edge rusher, 24 pressures and limited snaps. Cheap, Immediate depth as we rebuild the rotation after Phillips. Rashawn Gary is another name. He could be a cap casualty in Green Bay. He's 29, not a superstar, but he's plug and play on a prove-it deal. If it works, extend him. If not, you move on. Elton Jenkins, versatile offensive lineman who can play guard, center, tackle, another possible cap cut. Short-term answer at right guard if the price drops. Quick hits. Romeo Dew is probably out of reach. Ryan stays. Walker at left tackle will be way too expensive for us. From a strategy angle, this is clean. It strengthens Hafley's defense, patches holes without blowing up the payroll, and builds instant chemistry. Fans are losing in the comments. Is this Packers 2.0 or a cheap copy? I say it's a smart pivot toward playoff football. But hold on, because the draft just shook everything up again. Speaking of shaking things up, Mel Kiper's latest mock draft dropped like a grenade. With the 11th pick, he's got the Dolphins taking Kendrick Faulk, defensive end out of Auburn, to light up the pass rush. Kiper's take was simple. We don't know if Tua is the long-term answer, but the defense needs juice, and Hafley loves that profile. The timing makes sense. Jalen Phillips is gone. Chubb might be cut for cap space. Mix Chop Robinson's burst with Faulk's raw power, and suddenly you've got a long-term answer for opposing offenses. So who is this dude? Draft Network screams Pro Bowl upside. Versatile edge, violent frame. Lines up from 0 tech to 5 tech. Against the run, he's ready right now. Quick first step, power to hold the point. Chases plays downfield like his life depends on it. On the edge, active hands, strong outside shoulder, forces runs back inside. As a pass rusher, his speed-to-power conversion collapses pockets. Bull rush into a rip, nasty snatch moves. Length burst, he stresses offensive tackles even when he doesn't get the sack. There are questions, of course. Can that athleticism consistently win against elite NFL tackles? Can he live full-time on the edge? Double teams can move him at times. But the projection is clear, high ceiling, versatile defensive end who impacts multiple fronts. Picture him in Hafley's 4-3, Faulk kicking. Inside, Robinson outside, Gary and Enigbare rotating. Division quarterbacks waking up in a cold sweat. Does it change the season? Absolutely. Without Phillips and maybe Chubb, we're losing 20-plus sacks. Faulk can bring you 8 to 10 as a rookie plus serious run defense. Fans are split. Some want a quarterback, some want a corner, but edge is a screaming need. Trade down is always an option, but Faulk at 11 is a bet on now and later. The reactions are flying. Finally pressure without paying $30 million a year versus where's the receiver for Tua? Me, I'm locked in. This fits the Packers vibe perfectly. Hafley drooling over linebackers and defensive ends like Walker and Faulk. 2026 could turn into a nightmare for quarterbacks in this division. And after all that, the Tua trauma talk, the Green Bay invasion, this feral edge rusher. We end the day with real hope. Waller exposing the trauma holding Tua back, which might be the key to unlocking him. Packers South taking shape with Hafley and Sullivan targeting smart, familiar free agents. And Kendrick Faulk showing up in Kiper's mock as the future of the pass rush. This isn't just news. It's a blueprint for the 2026 playoffs. Elite defense, a freer Tua, and a clear plan. So tell me, does Tua overcome it? Or do you start looking hard at Willis? Let's really talk about it in the comments.